If you're trying to grow business here in the Philippines, one of the biggest hurdles has always been funding. But there's been a huge legal shift called the Personal Property Security Act, or PPSA for short, that has completely changed the game. It's designed to make getting a loan simpler and way more accessible than ever before. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you've probably felt this exact frustration, right? You've got valuable assets, your equipment, all that inventory, even the invoices people owe you. But trying to convince a bank to see them as real collateral, it felt like an impossible uphill battle. The whole system was just tangled up in these confusing, old-fashioned rules. And honestly, headache is putting it mildly. The legal framework was just outdated, it was fragmented, and it really wasn't built for the kind of economy we have today. But thankfully, that has all changed. And to really get just how big this new law is, we first need to look at the problems it was created to solve. Okay, so let's quickly dive into the old system. For decades, if you wanted to use your personal property, and that's pretty much anything that isn't land or a building, to get a loan, you were stuck. You were forced into one of two very, very rigid legal boxes. So on one hand, you had what was called a chattel mortgage. This was for things like your company car or a big machine, and it involved a mountain of paperwork. On the other hand, you had a pledge. Now, a pledge literally meant you had to physically hand over your asset to the lender. I mean, can you imagine trying to run your delivery business after giving the bank your only van? Or a factory handing over its main piece of machinery? It was totally impractical. It just didn't work. And this is exactly where the PPSA comes in. It basically took that entire complicated two-part system and just replaced it. Replaced it with a single, modern, and much more flexible framework. Believe me, this law isn't just some small update. It is a complete and total overhaul of how things are done. At the very heart of this new system is one simple but incredibly powerful idea: the security interest. This is now the one and only legal tool for using personal property as collateral. So no more trying to figure out if you need a mortgage or a pledge. It's all just one unified concept that covers everything. And the shift is just dramatic. We went from this rigid, totally knotted up system to one that's streamlined and flexible. But you know what the most exciting part of this whole change is? It's what you can now actually use to get a loan. This right here is the real game changer. The PPSA has massively expanded the definition of collateral. Your store's inventory? Yep, you can use that. Those accounts receivable, the money your clients still owe you, that's collateral now. Even your intellectual property, like the source code for your app or the brand you've worked so hard to build, can now help you get financing. It even allows for what's called future property, meaning you can get a loan based on the new equipment you're planning to buy. This just unlocks so much value that was previously just sitting there, totally untapped. So let's say you've got an asset and a lender who's willing to accept it. How do you make that deal official? And more importantly, how do you make it legally binding against everybody else? Well, the PPSA brought in a really clear two-step process for this. Okay, first you have creation. That part's simple. It's just you signing the written agreement with your lender. But here's the catch. That agreement only binds the two of you. To make it stick against the rest of the world, like other creditors or potential buyers, you need the second step, and that's called perfection. Think of perfection as basically announcing your deal to the public, putting everyone else on notice that your asset is being used as collateral. Now, there are three ways to do this, but the most important one, the one you'll see most often by far, is number one: registration. And this is done through a brand new online system that acts as a central database for every single one of these security interests. This system is called the Personal Property Security Registry, or the PPSR. The best way to think about it is like a national digital bulletin board. Lenders go online and post a notice here, and that simple act makes their claim on the collateral public and official. It's all transparent and accessible to everyone. And this whole registry works on a really simple and fair rule: first in time, first in right. It just means that if multiple lenders have a claim on the same exact asset, the one who registered or perfected their interest first is the one who gets paid first. It's really just a straightforward race to the registry. All right, of course, we also have to talk about what happens if a borrower can't pay. The PPSA also modernized the rules for what happens when someone defaults on a loan, making the whole enforcement process much, much clearer for everyone involved. So here's the crucial point. A creditor can take back the collateral without needing to go to court. But, and this is a huge but, they can only do it if they can avoid what's called a breach of the peace. In simple terms, this means no using force, no intimidation, and no entering a private home without permission. It's a way to protect the borrower's rights while still giving the lender a clear path to get their property back. And that leads to another massive change. After getting the collateral back, the old law required a really slow, expensive public auction. Not anymore. The PSSA allows the lender to just sell the asset privately, with one condition: the sale has to be commercially reasonable. This is so much faster, way more efficient, and it can often get a better price for the asset, which is good for everyone. Now here's one very important thing to remember. If selling that collateral doesn't cover the full loan amount, the borrower is still on the hook for whatever balance is left over. The debt isn't just automatically wiped out, which is a key difference from some of the older laws. So, with all of these changes on the table, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Why was this law even created, and what does it really mean for the economy right here, right now? First off, this isn't just some legal theory we're talking about for the future. As of early 2025, the PPSA and its online registry, the PPSR, are fully up and running. This is the new reality for business loans in the Philippines today. And the main goal here is crystal clear: make it easier for businesses to get financing. By creating a modern, predictable, and transparent system, the law basically encourages lenders to provide more credit, especially to all those smaller businesses that were so often shut out of the old system. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. It's written right into the law itself. The entire purpose is to empower MSMEs, the micro, small, and medium enterprises that are the absolute backbone of the Philippine economy, by giving them more tools to grow, to hire people, and to thrive. When you think about it, by turning things that were once just intangible assets, like ideas and invoices, into real, bankable collateral, the PPSA has fundamentally changed the landscape of business financing in the Philippines. The only question left is, with this powerful new tool in their hands, what will the country's innovators build next?